Hello and welcome to today's video as we cover the series that took place today in LOL Esports Tier 1. Started with the LCK, ended with the LCS. So in the LCK Gen.g BFX, this is the only prediction I got right today. And it was a slam dunk, easy prediction. 3-1. So we got it spot on. Woohoo. We can just forget about how I got the other four wrong. So Gen.g, Ruler, Dominant, 26 and 23. Chovy, 3 solo kills, including 2 on Zoe. In game 4, 28% of damage, 70 kill participation. For BFX, Kellen, 0834, Diable, 27% of the team's damage, and 78 kill participation. Drake's 8-8, so the macro was even in that regard. However, Barons, that's where Gen.g were quite strong, taking 4 in 4 games. BFX took 1. BFX 1 Baron was successful, 4,700 gold. So it was a good power play, used it well. Gen.g over the 4, averaged just south of 3,000. So good, but not great. In terms of gold control, when we factor in the buffs from Drake's Taken, Gen.g were ahead for about 2/3 of this series in the total minutes played. When you take into account gold, lead, and as well as buffs and gold value from Drake's, which I think is something that needs to be talked about more when we consider who is in control of games. In an analytical sense, not simply, oh, well, they took a Drake. We got to keep in mind that'll work. Like, what is the number on it? Let's place it. At minute 15 of the game, who's actually ahead? Things like that. Heretics Giant X. I thought Heretics Sheo was going to come through in a big way against Isma. I identified that as what I thought would be the big difference. This series, Giant X just were the better team. The bot lane duo in particular. June had the best KDA, 1-2-35. And also led in kill participation, 92% for Giant X. He got around the rift. He was the one that made things happen for the team. I think like 36 out of 39 kills was his involvement. Noah, 32% of damage. Now, Saren, another great series. People think Saren's a rookie still. And it's because they live under a rock and didn't realize he's been to international events before, representing the TCL much earlier in his career. He's not an old player by any means, but he's been around the block. He's seen better competition. Not to say that Europe isn't tier 1 competition, but when you go to international events, you play the best of the best. So 6, 4, and 7. Trayson, 32% of damage. The kid did well in the loss. Sheo, 88 KP. Drake's 9-6 for Giant X. They also took 4 Barons to 1. Heretics did take a Baron. They lost 1,600 gold during the power play, though. Not good. Giant X just south of 3,000 gold per Baron. Control, Giant X were in control about the same amount as Gen.g in their series. Now, Vitality, Fnatic. Vitality showed up in a big way. Crushed Fnatic. Linkchus, 8-1-20, 79 kill participation. The jungler made shit happen. And then the top side, we're not done there. Nako, 28% of the team's damage. Solo kill was super strong. Super strong into Empros. You see a Diffie there. Empros is a player that I've talked about before as a prospect coming up. I don't think he was a couple of years ago. He's probably statistically better off than he was coming in, maybe from 24 to 25. But his 2025 season was not indicative of a player that was going to come in and replace Oscar immediately. It's going to take some time, and they're going to lose a bit before they get better because of that. Fnatic. Vladi had 2 solo kills. He went 11-4-6 in the loss. Hit 31% of damage, 81 KP. This isn't on him. Drake's 6-3 for Vitality. They took all 3 Barons, only getting 2,000 gold a Baron power play. But we're in control the most during the day. I know it's a 2-0, so it's pretty easy to say that, but it was 77% control to 23%. Loud and Red, Zeno, great series again. The kid is disgusting. We talked about him last year as a prospect on VKS. He responded to my video, actually, and shared it, which I am thankful for. Still to this day, when players do share the content. A kid that deserved an opportunity, looked like one of the best top lane prospects in the world, especially in the West, statistically, mind you. And he's shown up that way as the CBLOL seasons went along. Early on, he had some speed bumps, but he's figured it out, and he's on a heater. So 3 solo kills, 18, 9, and 15. Bull, 2 solo kills, 31% of damage. Redbert, 70 KP. I thought that Red were going to win this. And I thought the only way Loud would win is if Red were fucking around with the bot lane and went with Frosty, Uzent into Bull and Redbert and expect to win. Now, if those rumors were true that they even played around with the roster and scrims this week, they deserved a loss. This was, in my opinion, when you're playing a team that's got some off the rift issues going on and some distractions, the last thing you want to do is also even the playing field. So if that was purposeful, that sucks. Red had some pretty weird drafts today. We saw an Echo, for example. So, I mean, it's just weird. Very weird drafts. And Loud took advantage. And Envy didn't look terrible. So, who was at fault? Was Mago holding the team back? Maybe. Frosty, 2, 13, 38, 77 KP. Kaze, 27% of damage. He had a solo kill. I forgot to put it on the board here. 14-6 for Drakes for Loud. They also took all 4 Barons, but only got 14, 18 gold. So, the Barons were pretty lackluster, but we're in control for 68% of the game, which was not the weakest on the board. And then Lion and Fly. Lion smoked Fly. Wasn't close. Fly got crushed again, and their split ends on what was just 2 terrible series. Terrible series. Just did not show up at all. We'll see if the kids can recover going into spring. We think of Furia. Think our last year, they statistically were very strong, Furia. And we're a team that I thought, hey, in spring they should be a threat, and they were. So FlyQuest should be a threat in spring. I'm not even looking at stats, just on paper they should be. So they just need to grow, get better. Lion, Saint, disgusting, 29, 1, and 20. 29% of damage, 72 KP. That's the Saint from last year. That's the Saint we saw coming up from D+. He is very good, and today he looked the part. Cryogen 0, 13, 14. That was the best KDA, 78 kill participation. Gakos had a solo kill, but 32% of the team's damage as well. That's not a but, that's an and. That's a good thing. Kid had 1/3 of the team's damage, so he did try. Drake's 8-6 for Lion, 3-0 for Barons, 2,500 gold on average, and a 72-27 split in control. So, if Sentinels don't make it, the America's Cup ends up being the 3. Well, no, Sentinels I think automatically are making it, right? I think so, actually. I was going to say it would be really something if the Sentinels Cup, if the America's Cup didn't include Sentinels. It was Cloud9 TL and oh, Jesus. Cloud9 TL and my God. Why is this team escaping me? I don't know why the team's escaping me. I don't know why. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. Fly. Yeah? Yeah, I think so. Why even Fly is escaping me? I don't know. I don't know what I was trying to say. For some reason, there was an angle I thought of like, wow, that's a kind of boring 3 teams that would go. But Lion should be a fun team. Maybe I'm just thinking Lion, but Lion is not a boring team on paper. They're a very, very strong team. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter. Join the Discord. Become a YouTube supporter. And hope to see you again tomorrow.